In the beginnings with Mad Lions, I was doubting us and myself a bit because we were not very successful, we couldn't win any scrims, although we always won the BO1 somehow.
This is a pool 1 guarantee, a top 2 regular season finish as Mad Lions defeat G2.
And then we ended up in the finals the first split even though we haven't won a single scrim. Then second split, we didn't even almost make it out of top 8.
They put Mad Lions in a match with Heretics at the end of the day.
Then we ended up winning the split in a reverse sweep against BDS.
LEC champions.
I thought that we are gonna like keep on improving, but then MSI came, everything went downhill again. We couldn't win a single game. I wouldn't be able to focus on my own gameplay. We would try to micromanage each other and that was really bad. And then after the 9-game lose streak, something clicked.
Mickey gets one, Bear Trap on a rope comes out, Crowstorm will find the front line, but not much more! Nisqy with a beautiful ultimate. The Mad Lions find the fight they were looking for.
In the first 2 splits, we just knew we were completely boosted, honestly. I go into the games knowing that there is just no chance we win the split. It feels like time is being wasted, every day is useless.
Fnatic on their way to their worst ever performance.
After losing for a very long time, finally starting to win, it was so much better and it made me want to play so much more, and it also made me play better.
Fnatic advanced to groups.
I also kind of expected it before that we were gonna be good, so it was kind of obvious that we were gonna do way better.
Fnatic will finish in 2nd place.
I never give up, right? I always find some success in the worst scenarios, like this year, completely doomed, spring and winter. Then here we are, Worlds and Finals.
Winning against Fnatic is very important because there is Humanoid, and I also wanna go back to finals to play against G2.
Because it's Carzzy who wants a crown.
Right now every team is learning. The mindset has to be you have to learn like every day, and I feel like there's always room to improve, and if you don't think like that, then you just fall behind.
I really want the LEC trophy, I want to live that. Every Spanish player that has been in LEC, they won the trophy. I was the first Spanish player that came, and after FLICKR and Elyoya came in, and they both won a trophy, so I actually won my trophy too, you know.
What? You were an instant back, instant combo! What? It's big ball! Oh my god! What?
We have great ambitions. We want to win not only here, we want to win in Worlds. We don't want to make it competitive. We want to go into Worlds as like a scary looking team.
Can he get the final kill? Looking under the tower, he gets it! Gets stunned up by Elyoya. He's gone all out. Pulls Chasy underneath the tower, and he does it once more!
Everyone just wants to prove themselves. Everyone has their up and downs through the years. Hansama in NA and then Mickey with the Excel. Everyone just wants to prove that they are the best in Europe.
I think we have fighter mindset in this team. We think about that, like be the fighter.
Mad have guaranteed themselves a spot in Montpellier at the World Championship once more.
Nexus in their sights! Montpellier secured by Fnatic!
When you click as a team, it feels really good. You come to the work and you feel excited to practice, spend time with the people, play on stage because it's all fun. Usually 2 teams in the league feel this way because they are winning. G2 are probably feeling this way quite a lot.
Looking to win the 2023 Season Finals in Montpellier.
This is something that is not built in a day. It takes months. I think the best teams keep going, and they don't give up. And that is why we're so much better than the rest.
I'm trying to manifest it as much as I can while it lasts.
Whenever there was a big crowd, I've always lost, so I really want to win at least once. That's really important to make it happen.
Bonjour Montpellier! Êtes-vous prêts pour la demi-finale du LEC? Aujourd'hui, 2 équipes qui se sont barrées la route. Cette année, elles s'affronteront pour la première fois en Best of 5 pour une ultime place en finale. La première équipe à se présenter devant vous, gagnant du Spring Split, fidèle représentant de l'Europe, Mad Lions! Et sur la top lane, Chasy! Au poste de jungler, Elyoya! Sur la mid lane, Nisqy! avec Ahri. Carzzy! Et à son côté, en support, Hyilissang! S'il vous plaît, une fois de plus pour Mad Lions! Leurs adversaires, commençant en Red Side, ils ont bravé toutes les épreuves pour jouer ici, devant vous, vêtus d'orange et de noir, Fnatic! Avec sur la top lane, Wunder! Au poste de jungler, Razork! Sur la mid lane, Humanoid! Au poste d'Adekari, Laure! Et enfin, on supporte à ses côtés, Trymbi! Pour Fnatic, s'il vous plaît, encore une fois, ces deux équipes, à la fin de la journée, il n'en restera plus qu'une qui ira affronter G2, une ultime place en finale à Montpellier. Pour Mad Lions, pour Fnatic, êtes-vous prêts?
What an incredible introduction. Welcome to the caster desk for this semi-final match between the Mad Lions and Fnatic. I'm Drakos, joined by my colleagues, my brothers, Dagda and Caedrel. This one, no doubt in my mind, it's going to be a banger. It might be a mess, but it is going to be a thrill to watch.
It really is, and the crowd is split. Like, the Mad Lions and the Fnatic chants are just as loud as each other. I think a lot of people in the French crowd are really here to root for Nisqy, but there's a lot of Fnatic faithful here who do believe in this run, this roster revamp from such a horrific winter and spring to get them into the finals tomorrow.
I mean, it's going to be an absolute banger. I'm so excited to see how this one's going to turn out. It feels like you kind of got the resurgence of both these squads, a lot from Fnatic over the course of summer and then into the season finals. And now Mad Lions, I mean, a team that so many people doubt, but it seems like they just take power from that, and that's when they come alive.
I mean, they're such an unpredictable team, and I'm curious to see how that home... I mean, ultimately, Nisqy's Belgian, but he's been adopted. We know he's been adopted. As far as anyone in France is concerned, this man is French. I'm wondering if this is going to feel like a hometown advantage to him. If he's going to feel like this crowd is 100% behind him, and how that'll affect his performance. Because when we talk about these teams, the desk highlighted every matchup so well, but mid-jungle is what we've been looking at.
Definitely is. And I think when it comes to Razork and Humanoid, turnaround from the start of the year, looking really sharp in these later stages of 2023. And what a time to ramp up, you know. Summer was really the time to turn it around, and they've found their way. Nisqy and Elyoya struggling a little bit. I think when it comes to like the Mad Lions that I know and love, it's Nisqy on facilitators, Elyoya on carry junglers, the Lee Sin, Lissandra, as you know, up against T1 and MSI, finding plays around the map, roaming to sides. It's not really the meta now. You had the Annie, Nico, LeBlanc meta. Now you're transitioning into AD carry-ish, AD kind of damage meta with the AP junglers and such, with the Tristana ban already onto Humanoid.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, we've even seen a bit of flexibility with Razork bringing out some of those carry picks instead, going for things like the Karthus and the jungle as well. So I'm very excited to see what is going to be brought to the table. As you say, Tristana already gone. It's been the highest win rate champion for Humanoid in that mid lane, so not fully surprised.
And through almost the entirety of season finals, Humanoid has been free to two-trick these AD carry mid laners, both the Tristana and the Jace. And I want to know what adaptation looks like from Fnatic when he's not able to play AD in the mid lane, allowing Razork to play AP in the jungle.
Yeah, LeBlanc already gone. I'm looking at Ivern and Rell right now as some kind of first picks for both these sides, with Maokai down, and then you're looking at Sejuani too. Sejuani, Renekton, Ivern can be picked up. Just talked about the Rell, it can be a flex for both these sides.
And you're even, again, you're still looking at a lot of things like the Xayah could be up and available as well, which has been a very contested pick over the course of this split. As you say, Rell, 100% pick ban over the course of the season finals, so not fully surprised. Renekton going to be taken away from Wunder as well. He kind of got to two-trick his way through that last series as well with the Renekton the Orange.
Yeah.
So.
I think Mad Lions take Rell here, right? Unless they want Ivern, but from what I know, Rell into Ivern is just a good matchup. You've denied Sejuani Renekton, so they have to go Ivern, right? So you're getting a good jungle matchup in that sense. I mean, there is both junglers open, so if you think something else is OP, you can pick the Xayah here, play Xayah, Rakan, and take one of the junglers that's open. But they're actually going to go for the Ivern. I'm surprised if they do that.
And in terms of meta power,
There we
certainly
go.
the Rell is going to feel good. It obviously can go to the hands of Hyilissang as well, but it is a bit concerning when we think again about the identity you talked about. The best version of Mad Lions we've seen historically, Nisqy the enabler, jungle much more about carry, Rell utility focused, ganking, not going to serve that. And instantly the response from the side of Fnatic, Humanoid was playing a bit of Taliyah in solo queue, and it seems like he's finally willing to bring it to the mid lane as Ivern is coming through in the jungle.
I actually thought we'd see him fall back to the chase because it's just like, oh, well, you know, you go for those AD mid laners is what we were highlighting, but taking the Taliyah now, you've got the Ivern. You will probably see as Xayah picked up on the opposite side here coming through for Carzzy in that bot lane. But I'm also a bit curious because when we think back to like the Excel version of Mad Lions, they were kind of tending more towards these things where they go for, hey, we want to get a Sipper, a Varus, something that's not really gone towards those more meta-oriented picks.
And I mean, in Season Finals alone, Carzzy, 35% of his team's damage, just about. This is a massive carry performance when he does get that champion, but is he going to be set up to play it is the question for now. Mad Lions taking their time. They've locked in a safe blind in the Cassante. Feels like a bit of a conservative draft overall if they do go for the Ahri, but this is a champion who, while not a Lissandra, certainly can enable a lot of these mid-game plays.
So what's happened in this draft is Mad Lions have covered off jungle top and Fnatic have covered off mid. So they banned the Azir LeBlanc, right, to go Taliyah 1-2 blind with jungle knowing they'll get counterpicked. Mad Lions banned Renekton to stop Sejuani Renekton and force Rell into Ivern. So Mad Lions, good jungle matchup. Fnatic, good mid matchup. I love this Poppy pick here. Poppy Taliyah into Ahri is going to be a struggle. When I saw that Ahri lock in, I was kind of concerned here for Nisqy. I think the Cassio could have worked a bit better or something with more range, but yeah, Nisqy's a bit pinched right now. He has to go for the Ahri.
And this Fnatic composition right now is the holy trinity of champions that just eliminate any ability you have to make plays. Between the Taliyah Unraveled Earth, between the Poppy as well, and the Ivern, it's going to be so hard for the Ahri to ever find, lock down, lock out, and kill these targets. As we get further in now, you see the Sivir taken away from Carzzy. Kalista going to follow, not wanting to give Noah some of the flexibility that he has shown in the last few drafts.
But that is the thing. I think Noah's kind of been a bit more pinched when it comes towards the AD carry pool, right? We see him oftentimes trying to go back towards the Aphelios, and maybe that is going to be the game plan unless it's been taken away here by Mad Lions. But definitely when I think of, hey, you want to try and get through, but it's going to be a pretty beefy front line for Mad Lions. I'm curious what the answer is going to be for Noah when the AD carry is going to be pinched even further.
Yeah, I think this is a really heavily favored Fnatic draft right now because they can also counter-pick support on 5, and we saw the Nautalis for Trymbi working out so well. With Brown being open, maybe they can just leave it till 5 unless they really want to pick that Nautalis here. Rakan ban makes me signals here. Maybe a Brown blind pick coming out from Mad Lions, perhaps. Some kind of Zeri Brown on 4-5 would be pretty good for them, but they're struggling with, we need to go in, but they have already got so much disengage and shields, and now they're going to play Xayah counter-pick support. Oh, it's a rough one. I think if they go Zeri Brown, something like Emilio on 5, it's going to be hard to dive into this Fnatic comp, but they need a melee support. Ivern needs a melee support.
And this is going to be such a tough game for Nisqy. We brought him up already, but it's so hard to find anyone to isolate and pick off once this Fnatic team is starting to group up. Xayah, the natural defense, the Unraveled Earth, the defense that provides you from the Ahri dashing in. What is the option going to be here for the Mad Lions bottom lane? Do they want to take this Rell bottom?
Could be Jinx Braum, Aphelios Braum, and then I think your Alistar to me is just screaming out, but Mad Lions can't pick Alistar into Taliyah Poppy. How are you ever going to
The question is,
anything?
how much does Hyilissang
Do
want
they
to
go
cook?
Lulu, you know, and then just play into Nautilus? It's really pinched here for Mad.
I mean, Hilly has brought out things like the Zillion as well, but I don't
What?
know if that's really
Thresh?
Thresh, okay.
Oh, they could go Blitzcrank on 5, can't they? I don't know if it gets any better.
This is a throwback for me. I have not seen Hyilissang play Thresh in quite some time. Again, struggle against the Unraveled Earth. The Poppy steadfast presence are going to limit so much, and it looks like the answer on the side of Fnatic might be, hey, let's outscale. If they don't want to play, an aggressive engage support, we can't go Soraka.
I think you need some sort of engage here, though, because realistically, yeah, okay, we're going to go back to the El Clasico for the moment with Trymbi, but you need something to actually get the party started here. Like, Ivern and Poppy are a little bit tough to try and get even a Taliyah flickback isn't enough, so I think you're kind of calling the bait here for Mad Lions, saying you need to go some sort of engage on that.
I think the consensus of Fnatic draft is Poppy Taliyah stop a lot of engage. Xayah has self-peel, and you have Ivern shields, right? So Mad Lions have a really tough task ahead of them in executing this draft to find the carries on Fnatic. Mad Lions need to get early game leads, right? Their mid jungle's not even that strong. They've got good setup, but they don't have the damage. So everything's on Carzzy. You know, Ahri's a facilitator in a sense if she doesn't get really far ahead and can go Majais and such. Cassante, Rell are tanks, and Thresh is a pick champ, right? So this Aphelios is everything for Mad Lions.
And when we talk about Mad Lions, outside of the AD position, we look specifically at jungle support. And I am worried for Hyilissang because we've seen Thresh games where you get ahead early game, you have vision control in your favor, you take over. Hooks look so broken. But when you fall behind on this champion, it is not something like a Pyke. It is not something like a Rakan that can make crazy plays in the late game. It's going to be on Elyoya, on the Rell, to find those angles if Mad Lions fall behind at all.
Ahri, Thresh, good picks. See if they can find them.
I think that's going to be it. I think it's going to be a case of, you say, trying to get that Thresh out of bot lane into mid, see if you can try and pick off this Taliyah, and maybe, just maybe, you can get control through mid to then lean into that bottom side, get control into the jungle as well against the Ivern, because otherwise, as you say, once you start to slip behind, there's no real comeback potential here for Mad Lions.
Certainly going to be tricky to navigate this one. Moments away now from the start of game one. Let's see who can come out on top. All right, a brief moment to take a breath before what I'm sure will be the bloodshed starting here. And expectations already set by you gentlemen. A lot about the early game, a lot about the Thresh, the Ahri, these champions who sometimes can have these limited windows of opportunity to really succeed in a game, making the most of them.
Yeah, just a quick thing I've noticed, I can see Noah pinging Carzzy having heal, and I think he's realized he's using heal for lane here because they want to get pressure and they want to win this 2v2. You don't have cleanse against Nautalis, Taliyah, Ivern, Poppy, Xayah route. If Carzzy gets CC'd, he's gone. He needs some out, but he doesn't have it. So he's playing a bit of a volatile game. You'll see like the Nautilus passive, the Ivern routes, the Poppy stuns, the Xayah E's. There's a lot to lock him down.
Yeah, I think he's relying heavily on Hyilissang to try and be there with those lanterns in time. Probably seeing early Mikhails coming out from him as well, because just making sure that you're going to be safe in these is going to be super hard. But again, like if you end up taking lanterns and stuff, it can just provide CC for Humanoid if he's got the Unraveled Earth down. So you do have to be very careful with your position.
Checking in, of course. There's going to be some early trading here. Jungle pathing going to be where we shift a lot of our attention. As kind of expected in the early lane, Aphelios can be sitting pretty. Has hit, you know, a number of nerfs since we last seen this champion be incredibly popular in the meta, but still has that nice bit of Severum sustain. Elyoya going to grab that second camp. We'll see if Elyoya wants to turn his attention topside, as the desk highlighted in spring. That was how they won a lot of their games, but bot lane still going to have to remain some of the focus here. Good trade back. Glacial versus Aftershock. Aftershock generally going to come out on top here.
I will say though, when you think of like, hey, what has been the defining factor for Mad Lions, it has been Carzzy in these late game picks, and it feels like going with the Aphelios is them kind of going back towards it. But lands,
Hyilissang now forced a flash out to safety, level 1.
That's
heal to the side. And that's massive because, again, Aftershock very often solid in lane, the heal solid in lane, but when you're losing the lane right off the bat, that's going to be very tricky to navigate.
You've also got both junglers are coming back down towards this bot side as well. You can see Razork going to be moving in to try and clear out his stuff now in a second. There's the Q, and to come back over the wall. So you have to be very careful as this wave starts to push in. I think Elyoya needs to stick around this bottom end.
Yeah, he needs to cover some kind of dive. This is the thing, blind pick Thresh doesn't happen often because Nautilus and Blitzcrank just hard counter him, you know? The hooks are just way more oppressive, and you can set up so much easier on the Thresh. He has to go Aftershock if he gets hooked, try and survive that, and then you're running away as Thresh. It's really not ideal, especially with Xayah. They've got good setup. Talk about bot lane. Elyoya, I don't think there's anything to do down here. So yeah, he's gonna go back to his red. He needs to get the full clear off. Razork's backtracked up towards the top side. He can just do Krugs here and reset and then run out bot. He's got a really good base timer here to just ignore top. There's no need. He can run here, maybe get a flash on Cassante, but he needs to keep bot pressure because he knows Mad Lion's only win condition is Aphelios. Make sure that can't get ahead. Make sure you cover bots. There's no need in getting the Poppy ahead.
Also, just this slow push for that Mad Lions are starting to set up as well is going to be a pain, where you really don't want Carzzy having that nice back timer. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Razork trying to get in and disrupt that, which is why with Razork on that later back timing isn't going to be as happy as this turns into a 3v2.
They could lantern gank bot here as Elyoya gets to level 4, just walking behind. Hyilissang doesn't have flash though. You know,
or Hex
lantern.
Flash.
Yeah, lantern.
Oh, he gets spotted.
Oh, it's a horror.
Oh no, that's so much time wasted. Free license for the next 10 to 15 seconds for Razork really to do whatever he wants.
He can double grab. Yeah, he could just run through mid, mark top grab, smite it, threaten Chasy, get his TP, run back down. You know, like Fnatic just run the map right now.
Yeah, perhaps just some jitters here in game 1, miscalculating the vision by a small amount there. Obviously, Lantern Flash Play, Thresh classic that has been around for, my god, almost 10 years now, when you think about it. See if Hyilissang can go for the setup here. Hook coming out. Trymbi not going to amount to much, but at least stops any follow coming from Carzzy. The wave will crash. That's going to be their opportunity to reset. We'll see what the first backs look like as Elyoya is going to wander up to the top side and realize he has been double crabbed as predicted. Hyilissang now going to be in trouble, though. Immediately the flash forward from Noah. Nice play now coming back, buying a bit more space for Hyilissang as he tries to run to safety. Trying to walk this away. Trymbi, how much time left on the hook? Titans rat now pulling him back into the tower. Does he have the play as well? Trymbi could just be in trouble. One more auto, and it's a 1-for-1. Hyilissang salvaging a bad situation.
You'll take that though as Fnatic. It kills the support versus a kill onto Noah. You're going to be delighted with that, and Hilly just sticking around that bit too long as Carzzy reset and gets done for.
Trymbi just do a little dance there. I think he did on his, sorry, on his camera, just having a little bit of a jiggy. So you can see here, base gone through, no flash. Nice play there. Doesn't get rooted straight away, but then by the time he does, he's just out of range of feathers, so the pullback doesn't root. It's just a miss there by Noah. If he got that root, insta-kill. Then the passive comes back up, hooking the tower. Nice 1-for-1 from Hilly, but like I said, Dagda, that's always going to be worth it for the Fnatic bot lane. First blood, 400 gold, push out. And there's the, you know, Trymbi's feeling it. He's happy.
I mean, you got to respect it. That's the kind of confidence you want to see coming into a big stage game like this. Always a question when you see new additions of teams playing for the first time on a big stage. Trymbi, though, of course, no stranger after his victory last year.
If I'm Elyoya, though, this is just kind of lit a signal fire down in the spot side, though. No summoner spells apart from that cleanse on Noah and Trymbi. I want to try and get down here and make sure that I can actually have an effect on this, but it's a great ward that you're about to see Elyoya just walk over. That means he's just going to be completely caught.
Yeah, this is actually bad by Fnatic. So what happened was, as Noah got the kill, he tried to push out, but he was basing on a ward. So what happened was, Aphelios had green gun, cancelled his base, which meant Noah took so long. Aphelios then got blue, fast pushed, and now they've lost the plate and he's down 10 CS. So that base from Noah, a little bit greedy, around the 4 to 5 minute mark, did make it so, you know, this lead that they had from the first bloods slowly kind of being chipped away at.
And neither side really able to blow open this game despite the initial kill looking pretty positive, as you highlighted. Not able to optimize that early advantage. As a small trade coming out here, but Nisqy now stepping forward. Then flash charm, or charm flash rather, just not quite connecting. He really not even burning flash.
Didn't need to. I mean, just as soon as that went wide, he was able to just walk on out of that. So now more summoner spells burnt to the mid lane for Mad Lions. And Fnatic, I mean, for all the fighting that Mad Lions have been attempting to achieve, it has been Fnatic to keep coming out on top of it.
Yeah, right now it's a little bit tricky. First Ahri ult, not going to amount to a kill. Not going to amount to much of anything on the top side. It's just about dead even in bot lane. Xayah already building up a lead. So right now Fnatic are sitting pretty.
They are, but I think they need to get the ball rolling a little bit when it comes to these mid-bot plays. You know, Wunder is just going to freeze, be safe, and if his team needs him, he'll sack himself, right? But Razork's going to hit level 6 off this crap. They need to look for early Drakes, Herald fights, you know. The Nautalis Ivern will be extremely strong up against the Thresh. If you can get vision first and you're face checking into that, there's no chance you can fight.
And I think that's what Fnatic are trying to set up for here, right? Trymbi roaming towards the mid lane. They want to try and get Nisqy off of reset, and then you can even set up for the Rip Charge off that play as well. So ton of vision being invested in this top side. It's going to be a case of, hey, can we try and pick someone off just as we start to move in towards the next neutral?
And Nisqy's base got cancelled as well. You know, look at this. Another play to Humanoid. First played over to Humanoid, rather. There's a ward over the wall. You can see on the top end of the screen there that put out Nisqy on his base. He got cancelled, and now Humanoid's got big pressure in mid. So these base timers from both these teams a bit greedy in the first game, just amounting to small deficits.
Yeah, we're throwing away small advantages, as was the case on the bottom side. Fnatic were able to get that kill onto Noah. Still 1-to-1 the kill score overall. Again, either side with a substantial advantage. Herald coming up in 10 seconds, but neither side shifting their bot lane up to try and contest it. So we'll see who can actually take it. You can see Fnatic have done their due diligence in laying down some top side vision, just in case they do want to go for the Herald. But for now, nobody's moving. Will connect. Play back onto Trymbi. Red gun now coming out, Severum a little bit extra healing, but the Ignite now taking away. Carzzy's very strong, but definitely Fnatic are stronger. He's going to manage to get one. Fnatic immediately fire back. Hyilissang surely dead now. It's going to be a 2-for-1 in the favor of Mad. Taking a bit more time. Nisqy, can he save the day? Hyilissang ticking down. Is there a play left to be had here? Elyoya on the way as well. Nisqy leaping in, finding the charm. Daisy still doing decent damage at the ult over the wall, but in comes Humanoid on the wall. What can he get done? Now firing back. Noah remaining untouched on the backside. Nisqy not able to complete the play.
And everything that Mad Lions try to fix is going the way of Fnatic. You have the cavalry arrive as Razork will fall and Trymbi does as well, but 2 kills going across to Noah, adding a third to his belt. It's going to be fantastic for that AD carry.
Nisqy and Elyoya arrive, but their damage is kind of low and they have quite long cooldowns. Nisqy doesn't have ult here, but maybe he can look for Noah. He needs to land the charm.
Lands in ult. Lands at least available. Noah now just going to walk away. The charm connects. Nisqy takes his time. A nice, easy shutdown on the bottom side, and that has to feel good for the Mad Lions.
That was extremely clean by Nisqy. You know, there's a lot of ways that play just goes horrendously bad, where the wave doesn't die and you can't land the charm, and you know the Xayah can play in the wave, but nevertheless, good play there on the overstay. 2v2 in favor of Fnatic. You know, Carzzy does get the guns up, but Noah was going to get that kill regardless. Razork just making sure he's around.
And as well, I mean, the fact that you even hit the level 6 here for Noah, off of the minions that die in the middle of the fight, means that he's so free to just go ham in this. And even though the call is going to be, hey look, Nisqy and Elyoya are coming down, he knows he has the ultimate available, so he can play open aggressive here. And as Caedrel was already saying, there's just not a huge amount of damage to really threaten Noah on that backline.
You know, credit to Noah, gets out of the way of the crash down, because the Rell ultimate ideally is pulling you into that ability, which is going to do such a large chunk of base damage, because he only gets clipped by the ult. He takes like, what, 50 damage maybe in that initial upfront burst, which is definitely not what Mad Lions were fishing for. See now around the Dragon, Fnatic trying to continue to extend their advantage. It's not really manifesting in the gold quite yet. It's just about dead even, but they will have the luxury of an Infernal Drake. That said, Elyoya on the top side with the Herald, trying to shut Wunder down. Mad Lions bot lane up here as well. They want to funnel money into Carzzy. We called it out in the draft. He is the win condition for Mad Lions, and Mad Lions want to make sure that he is very strong.
Yeah, at the moment they're just going to be matching the two pushing plates here, as actually might dive onto Chasy.
Chasy in trouble. Always a bit bold to dive at Cassante, but right now the CC layering is flawless. Chasy can do absolutely nothing. Incredibly clean dive on the side of Fnatic.
Well played there. They had the TP on Nisqy, but he didn't have a timer to TP in. You know, Humanoid was marking him pretty well, but here's the Herald from Mad Lions on the cross map. They should get first power, I believe, but Fnatic will get a lot of platings out on that bot side.
But there's no world where Chasy should have been there, right? You can see that Wunder was completely respected on the top side, saying, hey, gotta back away, leave the wave. And Chasy just trying to be greedy and ends up getting punished for it. So even though you do get that first tower goal, the fact the kill went over, Fnatic should still get bot tower eventually. I mean, still good for Fnatic.
Last play here. Noah does not have the time to stick around, so at least a small advantage to the side of Mad Lions. You can see in the goal, I mean, it's dead, essentially. But it does mean that Aphelios is going to catch up and at least be able to match on items.
Yeah, and just looking at these drafts, this game's only going to get faster paced in terms of fighting. You know, Poppy will sack waves, Cassante will sack waves, they'll start grouping, Rell will want to engage, they'll want to look for picks, Mad Lions. Fnatic will have to match with Vision, they have a global ultimate on Taliyah too, so I think once bot lanes go mid, as you can see here at 11 minutes 30 seconds of the game rather, you'll start contesting over Vision more and there'll be a lot more fights.
But that's the thing, Fnatic have fantastic vision at the moment. Like, you can look up at the top side, there's a bunch of red wards littered there. The bot jungle of Mad Lions also belongs to Fnatic. Like, the vision is fantastic, and I think that's what we need to see from Fnatic to continue forward, right? They need to stop these pick potentials coming through from the Ahri that has the advantage from Elyoya as well, and just set themselves up off of the dragons they're already starting to accrue.
Definitely feels like just continue to do what has already been so successful for them. We are, of course, in a pause. I will keep you updated as we get more information from our competitive operations team as to what the pause is, or if we need to know. Maybe it'll be resolved quickly.
Yeah, it was Humanoid, so it was the Fnatic pause coming in. You know, desperate times.
They're fine. It's not desperate at all.
No, true.
They're doing great.
May as well start off with
Where was
bang,
this in winter? You know what I mean? They don't need it now. They've done good enough now. It's an interesting game for me because I feel like I'm nervous for Mad Lions based on this game one, what we've seen so far. And while they have traded blow for blow, and they've done a good job of getting resources in the back pocket of Carzzy, Wunder's doing quite well. He did get counterpick on top side. It was, you know, he is in a pretty comfortable matchup. But you want a strong point for Mad Lions. Their bot lane fell behind early, and their top lane hasn't done a lot. So we're waiting to see where that strong point is going to be.
The strong point for Mad Lions is fight, die, base, reset, run back out on the map, fight again, non-stop. Get Xayah's like Xayah's ult is quite a long cooldown. You know, if they can force that out, get a kill, trade 1-for-1. The objective's still up. Everyone resets round 2. Mad Lions comp loves that because it's just pure pick, single target damage. Get one kill and then take over Vision, right? So it's hard to face check. It's hard to fight them in a ball here if Fnatic are grouped up, but they need to make it such a mess that it's just so chaotic that Fnatic are all over the place.
And as an update, League officials have confirmed audio issues reported by the teams. They're currently investigating. We're going to see what is up. Perhaps he could not hear enough of Candy King Ivern in his ear as he stood next to Razork.
You do need the woo!
Yeah, the woo! Yeah. You need to be reminded. You need to diffuse the tension with the sultry sounds of the most obnoxious skin ever made next to Lollipoppy.
What did Taliyah says? Throw another rock.
Throw another rock.
I thought it was Super Galaxy Rumble is the most obnoxious one.
That one's pretty. So it depends. It depends on the client because you would think that, but then if we go when we go to Korea later this year, we'll get the sultry sounds of Lysandra going really loud and Gnar going really loud for some reason.
I'm ready. Yeah, it's gonna be incredible.
Bang. Let's see if they're meta. We'll see. Right
we'll
now.
See.
Now looking a bit like Hyilissang, not so much, but
we saw
support.
Yeah, looked spicy for the one game that we did see it.
They're cooking. But yeah, I think we set pretty good expectations to what to expect this game. You know, Mad Lions need to really split them up. Fnatic need to stay together. And that's why I think now in this 11 to 12 minute mark, the map will start to really shake up. And there'll be a lot of fights as Trymbi's, I think he's getting the crowd to do some kind of torch waves going on in the stadium.
Trymbi waves. And so Montpellier waves.
They wave back.
It is
Oh my god, it's funny because it's a pause, but now it feels like we're at the slow song part of the concert.
We're at Silver Scrapes, we're waiting for game 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
the
where
slow song, Silver Scrapes. That really slow song.
We're on a different vibe here, but we
With a
both
violin.
we got
Can you
to
imagine
music.
Silver Scrapes like a violin?
A slow, sad Silver Scrapes. Baker's like 55 and has decided finally it's time to retire, so we play the slow, sad version of Silver Scrapes.
His birthday, you know.
Put it all together for him.
MSI Finals.
One final game.
Yeah.
All right, they're testing. We'll keep you posted as we know more. Hopefully we'll be back into games shortly. That's the official testing method. You put it up to your ear.
Yeah. Do I hear sound?
Oh my god, that is some Elyoya fandom. For those who don't know, Elyoya, big selfie enthusiast. Highly recommend that you follow him on social media, like all of our players. And that is a board of a lot of different Elyoya selfies, who is looking fresh today. Some fantastic glasses.
Subscribe to the Instagram.
And again, if you are just joining us for whatever reason, we are in a pause. It is audio issues, but just a reminder of how we got here. For Mad Lions, it has been a story of success and failure next to each other, seemingly out of nowhere. In both cases, they're a team that has been unpredictable, but has hit high highs and incredibly low lows. For Fnatic, it has been steady progression. They have made countless roster changes this season, but now both these lineups, despite whatever happened in the past, are just 3 wins away from beating G2 in the finals tomorrow.
But I think it has been for Fnatic, like, as we talked about, the fact that we've got to see their mid-jungle looking significantly better. It feels like Humanoid has looked fantastic on things like the Tristana. Not so much in season finals on the Chase, but definitely summer looked right in the Chase. And it kind of has lent itself then to, hey, we can play off of Humanoid in this mid lane as that big damage dealer. And the Taliyah should be able to fit that role once more. And I think coming into this then, it's very much on Mad Lions to try and break that. In fact, we've seen Nisqy and Elyoya trying to get down into this bottom side, trying to see if they can crack open what's been a pretty stalwart Fnatic in the early stages. Is really good to see, but we definitely have to see more of it.
See the G2 fans there in the audience. They're not even playing. You know, the guys underneath that flag, they don't even know who's playing. They're just like, the early game starts. Yeah, they're here for G2, so they'll be playing tomorrow, obviously.
And I think, I'm getting ready checks now on stage. Noah the GOAT. And speaking of Noah, this is the thing that I think is interesting, is that Noah at the start of summer looked like a gift sent all the way from South Korea to EMEA, to just ruin our AD carry pool. And it's quieted down a bit, but this game specifically, and how they put him as the primary damage dealer on this Xayah on a composition with so much protection, makes me feel like Fnatic are once again showing us a bit more of what made them so successful at the start of summer.
So, here come the 3v3 contests on mid-wave. Mad Lions still choosing to play the lane states, but Fnatic want to put their bot lane mid to collapse on side. See if they get collapsed on here quick here, because Mad Lions might be in trouble. Carzzy wants to push out that wave. There.
No flash, pull back. The stun still going to connect from the unraveled earth. He's locked himself up in the box, buying a bit more space. Trymbi continuing to step forward. He has no aftershock. He's just going to get absolutely one shot. Noah continuing to throw down the feathers, but can he pull them back in time? The feathers fly. He finds the kill, and the shock drums fade away. Carzzy's damage profile absolutely eliminated. Nisqy on the backside, but that's 3 members of Fnatic. 3 members locked up by the Everfrost, but Wunder not going to have it. The immediate flash into the wall bang to try to lock down Nisqy. 1-2 and 3. Another kill falling up as Cassante will drop it. Humanoid will remain standing. Fnatic in the fight are monstering the Mad Lions. Carzzy got nothing left in the tank. A massive lead for the side of Fnatic as they finally fire back in the fight.
Straight out of the pause, absolute bloodbath. You can see the mid-wave collapse down into the bot side. Fnatic get there first, but Trymbi goes way too deep, so it becomes a very competitive back and forth fight. Fnatic split up there. Mad Lions would love that. You know, you had the Poppy and the Ivern onto the Ahri, and then everyone else from Fnatic went towards the bot side of the map, but it's still Fnatic to come out ahead.
And that's the thing, though, when you look at where the TPs were coming in from and where Nisqy was trying to approach from, it was very split up. But Fnatic just had this death ball that they refused to let go of, and it gave them so much room to operate on. With Wunder TPing right into the middle. Bot lane Terra now gone. Wunder going to get another play. That is a massive swing for Fnatic.
Oh, it's only really going to get harder for Mad. They need these fights. They need to reset, come back out on the map, and just go for round 2, because a lot of summoners were used here. Hyilissang gets caught initially next to Carzzy, but the hook goes onto the wall instead of the champion, so Trymbi gets locked up and dies. In come the TPs from Wunder, from Chasy, from everybody, basically, arriving into the fight. But here's where they split up. Wunder and Razork look up and they look at Nisqy. Noah and Humanoid look down. You know, they look for Chasy, they look for Carzzy. So, and here I was a bit worried for Fnatic, but eventually they managed to pull through.
Yeah, I think, as you say, like, the flash forward from Wunder onto Nisqy completely just takes that out of the equation. And then Humanoid just barely able to get that kill underneath the tower. You can see Carzzy was like, I need to get something. I'm doomed. But there was just nothing left.
Here's round 2.
And again, Noah, the powerhouse of the team. He's got 2 items already, and it's 14 minutes. If you do not kill this Xayah is sure as hell going to kill you. But Elyoya determined to fire back immediately. The Everfrost bomb and the shutdown. Right as I call it, Mad Lions deliver. That is exactly what they needed.
They just need fights, fights, and more fights. You can see Xayah ult on cooldown, an actual window to kill her and actually find some damage down onto the carry of Fnatic. Mad Lions want to get a tower, they want to reset, put more vision down, and then come in for round 3. They need this kind of pace.
And they have the round 3. The bell's already set with the dragon in 30 seconds as well, so Mad can look for that reset, come back out onto the map, and immediately look for it. As you say, yes, you've got Noah's ultimate just now back up and available, but nothing else to keep him safe.
And the way Fnatic's comp is, when do we put on the brakes? You know, they ask themselves, do we fight this dragon? It's just the second dragon of the game, you know? It's our second, it's their first. Do we have to lose the game over it and take these fights without summoners? We'll see their answer very soon, you know, but they need to make sure they don't get lost in this chaos.
Have to be careful. Carzzy has the luxury of so much safety in the fight to come. He doesn't have the second completed item yet. Big damage over the wall from Humanoid, slowly chipping away at Elyoya. Fnatic, not a lot of vision control in the pit here. Almost none to speak of. Do they feel comfortable to walk in and contest it? They don't have mid-prio. They're fighting to get bought back, but Mad Lions favored for now. They're going to take this opportunity to recall and reset. The hook from Trymbi will not connect, and Nisqy just poking with the Everfrost.
I mean, the fact that Humanoid got that poke onto Elyoya, though, means he has to back away. 3 members of Mad are in the base, so this is going to be a Fnatic dragon. Humanoid kind of riding and finding that moment to give Fnatic the dragon.
Yeah, I think Mad wanted to hold their vision there and try and force Fnatic to walk into them, but Yoya got really chunked, and then once the Rell's really chunked, that's your main form of engage, so kind of just have to back away. You can't take fights at a disadvantage, have to give up this dragon. It's going to be a mountain soul, so obviously Mad Lions really need to fight the third. Herald's up in 5. They've got a little bit of topside control. See if they walk towards that objective.
Carzzy picking up BF sword. See what he wants to do in terms of itemization as we get later into the game. Perhaps just forced to be as safe as possible. As the Flash has the luxury of the Lantern in the fight to come, Noah's still going to be summoner spell list as they do go for the contest here. Humanoid's ult and Flash just around the corner.
Gold's even though, and Mad have lost 2 Drakes. They need to contest this Herald. They need a fight that just blows the game out of the water and pushes Fnatic back to tier 2 so they can start forcing in their jungle here, Mad Lions, because in a game state like this, you're just going to get choked out.
And they want to try and go for a fight as well. They reset Nisqy off that bot wave where he could have gone for tower, but now you've got very split up here as Mad Lions.
Managed to get the crab. Elyoya has the overstate, immediately going to be forced to ultimate to get the aftershock down. Unstoppable now is Chasy as he tries to retreat. Elyoya cut down before the fight can even really break out. Fantastic pick from Fnatic. They turn their attention right to the Herald.
Mad Lions were completely split up. They were fighting for mid-priority as they were contesting Vision and River as well, and it gave so much opportunity for Fnatic to find that pick. Now get the Herald. These chances that Mad Lions wanted to look for those fights are just fading completely.
Yeah, a bit of a blunder there from Yoya. Nisqy was running out of base and Mad were trying to force it midway. Gets caught. I think he thought he was fine just getting over the wall there, but he has pulled back from the hook. Hyilissang trying to collapse on top side here. I don't know if
there are 3 members here. The root now coming through, the box coming out, but that is not going to be enough. My man wrapped himself up and hand-delivered to the Mad Lions. Razork now going to try to keep it going on the top side of the map. Chasy pushed back. He doesn't even need the team! It's just a 1v1, and the Humanoid comes out on top.
It's just a disaster, and look at the bot lane, we're still going.
Bot lane. Wunder just trying to make sure that Nisqy can get absolutely nothing done. He does have TP, he forces out the ult as well. Fnatic are winning everywhere on the map.
They're answering every single play Mad Lions want to do. They know Mad Lions' Herald setup was a bit sloppy there and they were late, so Fnatic got there, punished them. They knew that Yoya made a mistake in getting chunked out around Dragon, so they forced their way and took that second objective. Now with that Herald and getting those picks, they can Herald top tier 2. TP coming in.
TP for Mad Lions.
Humanoid on the reset here.
Humanoid, Gale Force now comes out. Carzzy going to finish the kill instantly. Pushed back, buys a bit more time. Noah versus Nisqy on the top side. Everfrost connects. Charm immediately follow up. Good damage thus far. Noah has the ultimate and the cleanse, trying to walk away. Good damage. Noah should just fall here. That's the shutdown to the side of Mad Lions. A nice call on taking the play against Fnatic there with the flanking ward.
Yeah, good TP, good punish. Fnatic overstaying a bit. Noah could have ulted there, could have cleansed the charm, but he needs to save it. He can't afford to let those summoners be on cooldown for when Baron spawns in a minute 30. If they get caught on midwave, the game just swings in Mad Lions' favor. So taking the L there, making sure he dies, dies as quick as possible, doesn't burn anything, he's got everything up for the next one.
And I think it now gives this opportunity, you can see, for Mad Lions to establish vision on this top side. See if now they can look for picks as Fnatic are starting to come back in onto the map. Biggest problem for them though is that like 20-minute Baron, pretty unrealistic for Mad Lions to really contest, so they would look to try and move that vision down onto the bottom side so they can actually try and pick off Fnatic before they start to come in. So quicker resets are on Fnatic as they start to come back out onto the map, so they can actually contest a lot of this mid and bot pressure as they start to look for that next dragon.
Both sides. Pretty quick Barons as well, so have to be careful about overextending on some of these side lanes. We do not have TP up and available. Nisqy does not have his, Chasy has his. Both solo laners for Fnatic have theirs available. Daisy is coming out. Hyilissang is one of the problems with Thresh. You have so few disengaged tools. Is able to flash away to safety, but it just instantly gets cut down. Feathers once again fly in the mid lane as Noah will find the kill on the Hilly, and he's hungry for a bit more. The Weaver's Wall now coming out. Humanoid barreling down over the wall, looking for the flick back, trying to find a moment. Will not quite connect on Elyoya, but in goes Trymbi, and down go the Mad Lions. Elyoya running for his life. That's going to be Baron for Fnatic.
And that's exactly why Noah saved his spells to make sure he can get that pick on the mid wave around the Baron spawn timer. All of these champions from Fnatic just deny everything Mad Lions want to do. Nisqy can't move in fights. Yaya has to run. The Thresh, as soon as he's in kind of any kind of threat, he just has to run for his life. And now they're maybe looking for a pick here. Ashe is spawning in 3, but Chasy wants some vision.
Hook coming through. Chasy's still quite tanky, but damn, not nearly tanky enough. Ignite ticking, Leandri's ticking. Chasy will just be able to live, but the Baron will surely fall. Elyoya has to find a way into the pit.
He should go to Drake, I think. Just give it.
Chasy does have TP, but as you say, I don't think they really want to fight for it. I think it is just going to be a case of go for Dragon, and that's going to be Baron in game 1 going over to Fnatic. This has been such good control from this the black and orange right now.
Yeah, they've answered Mad Lions at every single play. The Dragon's on up for 10 still though, so as much as Mad have got bot side vision, they're kind of same timer out of base. Look where Fnatic is. 5-man coming down mid tier 2. Nisqy is just pushing out bot. Chasy's about to enter the river. A bit split up here are Mad Lions, so they can't make this kind of single target death brush to force Fnatic into them. But Yaya has the Hex Flash over this wall here. Can maybe look for an engage. Fnatic are just brute forcing their way through.
Carzzy, 2 guns, but not super optimal for an extended fight here. We'll see how quickly he can burn through the ammo. Wunder just fearlessly going to start walking up. There is no response to the side of Mad Lions. They're slowly getting run down. The heal now coming from Wunder. Wunder flashing out safety. Elyoya desperate to finish the top laner. Nisqy continuing to follow up. How long on the unravel? A little cooldown. The shielding coming in from Ivern is so hard. And again, Humanoid versus Chasy, and Humanoid keeps coming out on top. The re-engage goes in. Daisy finding the knockup. Noah finding the double, the triple. And now going to look for the quadra. Humanoid on the chase. Wunder coming in as well. Hand delivered, gift wrapped, an AD carry kill. Humanoid finds another in the fight.
And Fnatic are able to find their way into River, are able to find their 3rd dragon. And everything that Mad Lions try to do, they try to dive onto Noah. There's no follow-up. They try to get onto Humanoid. He's killing Chasy. Fnatic can do no wrong right now.
And that's exactly what I'm wondering. What happened between Chasy and Humanoid? Because that fight didn't look too bad for Mad Lions. Wunder was extremely low. It looked like Fnatic was slowly retreating, but then the second the Taliyah killed the Cassante, everyone then turned around for Fnatic, realizing they have this numbers advantage. So take a look at this again, because Yoya's on the flank. You can see Wunder gets chunked out. It's the knockback here that comes through. Chasy ults Humanoid through the wall. So it's a 1v1 on this top side, but Humanoid wins out on this with the E. I think Chasy dashes through it and stuns himself. Q comes through. And now Fnatic realize we have a numbers advantage. Let's go back in. Wunder base and TP in. And Mad Lions just didn't have enough gas in the tank to keep that fight going.
Again, also, Mad Lions starting to separate. You can see that Hilly was trying to play forward to push Fnatic back away from the Dragon Pit, but you can see that the rest of Carzzy wanted to start moving up to try and help out Chasy as he went for that 1v1 against Humanoid. And Fnatic and Trymbi finding that great moment to look for the re-engage and set up Fnatic for success.
And right now, Mad Lions' front line is just not effective in the way that Fnatic's is. They have so many tools to stop anything from getting done. Humanoid potentially in trouble here, immediately going to go for the bomb, but just going to try to one-shot Nisqy. Massive damage. Noah waiting over the wall. Good stun. Charm going to come out. Charm not going to connect. That's big. Nisqy burning, ticking away. Is it going to be enough? Yes. Another kill coming through. You said it before, Dagda, but Fnatic can do no wrong. Every single play, Mad Lions are starting. Fnatic is the victor as Wunder keeps the pressure going on the bottom side. 19 seconds left on the Baron. He will break a tier 2. The rest of his team dead set on breaking mid lane. The backs being canceled. Fnatic running a victory lap through Mad Lions base at this very moment.
Their backs aren't being cancelled. Their backs are being broken. Fnatic are taking it as they go. The base now gone with this.
Looking for this bot inhibitor as well. Mid's fallen, 10 seconds on Nisqy, 5 on Elyoya. But Fnatic are healthy. This Ivern gives them so much sustain. The Redemption's on cooldown, just making sure they're alright. The Bloodthirster for the Xayah, full HP. Noah lost his summoners, but still has that ultimate, so a lot of self-heal already for Fnatic.
Going in. No one committing, but just excellent poke down on Chasy. Nisqy again fishing for the ball, fishing for the ankle, but Wunder stops it with the steadfast presence. Poppy ult coming out. They can knock the Ahri out of the fight and just set their attentions on the rest of the team. Chasy about to get cut down. The feathers pulling back, will not connect. Chasy still holding on to his life. Carzzy terrible guns, but is it going to be enough? Charm connecting Chasy, but no! The stopwatch to Xayah buys a brief moment, and he does not need more than a moment because his team is behind him. Fnatic leading up, tearing down Mad Lions in game one. Their windows of opportunity were brief, they were bright, but they are gone. Fnatic playing for keeps here in game one. They'll break down the Nexus, set their eyes on the prize, look to take us to a game two. Mad Lions clearing out Daisy, clearing out minions, and have to hold on to hope, have to adjust their strategy coming into game two, because game one has been all Fnatic since this mid-game. Noah going legendary, dominance from Fnatic in game one.
Noah 15, 3, and 10 on his first kind of big stage game here in the LEC. Was kind of curious how he performed, you know, first time on a roadshow like this, but man, he's stepping up already. And I think Fnatic's draft, Fnatic's comp, so well-rounded. So many easy win conditions, so many fallback plans, but Mad Lions were constantly fighting this timer, and it just kept running out.
Man, is there anything more terrifying than seeing Trymbi dancing in front of his monitor? Because that's when you know it's about to go wrong for you. He was so good in so many of these fights with getting that turnaround play.
And when you have confidence players on the enemy team and they're confident, yeah, you should be a little bit nervous. Yeah. But I feel like from the side of Mad Lions, they're going to walk back behind stage, hopefully recover, be in a good mood coming into game two. But the corner that they were put in draft made that game incredibly hard. They had to execute so flawlessly to surpass Fnatic. And I think they're going to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate a lot of their game one priorities.
I just think the mid pool was pinched too much. Rell first pick into Ivern, fantastic. Let's get Cassante blind. Top lane should be all right, you know, we'll go even there. Ahri, you know, into the Taliyah, not a best matchup. Poppy, Ahri, Taliyah, this dynamic is horrible for her. And then you're playing double AP mid jungle with a lot of setup, very low damage, and unreliable forms of engage and follow-up in the sense that you have a Thresh as well. You know, you don't have Alistar Rell, you know, you have Thresh Rell with an Ahri charm. You know, it just makes it a bit difficult, and not that it's overcomplicated, but I think there's ways that it just becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, you could even see it in the fights, right? It was like, hey, Elyoya gets on towards Noah. Noah's still 3/4 HP by the time everything's been thrown at him. You're looking at what could Nisqy really do in those. It wasn't really there. So I think, as you say, trying to go back a bit towards the drawing board and go, hey, look, maybe we can get higher damage coming through from mid-jungle. But also I think trying to settle into the bot lane a little bit better as well. Like Hyilissang getting caught out early on those resets. Some of the positioning that we had from Hyilissang as well coming in towards objective setups meant that he was getting caught out on the Thresh. So I think there's definitely cleaner aspects that we can get from Mad Lions, but nothing that they can't clean up coming into game number two.
And we're just going to have to see how they adjust their draft, how they adjust their in-game play, because right now Fnatic have to be feeling pretty good after that game one. For more on game one, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, and I'm going to give some credit here to Ender to my left, because he ran out of time, but he actually had a point prepared in defense of Noah before we even saw this first game, because it was so Carzzy loaded, right? So I'm going to let you do it now that you have this game to back you up as well.
I'm a Noah believer, okay? Like from when this guy joined the league at the start of summer, like everyone was just kind of blown away with him, I feel like. Really strong in the lane, mechanically gifted, all those good things. But specifically, what I see in him is his ability to know when he can just play completely unhinged. You'll see that moment in a team fight, right? Where he's playing backline, backline, backline. Each piece of engage util that could threaten him or dive that could threaten him is down, and then he goes full on in. It's unreal. You saw that kind of him like chasing down Hyilissang, sort of knowing the exact limits he could push into 4 people. He was frontlining on the Xayah, but it just worked so well.
So coming into this series, that bot lane from Fnatic had 6 2v2 kills. They got their 7th.
In Season Finals, right?
In Season Finals. Just in the 4 weeks that we've been playing this tournament. This was their 7th. It feels like that the confidence from this bot lane is just erupting right now. And that's what we saw a lot of the early action, right? It all stemmed around this bot side of the map, Yamato.
I think also it's just crucially, when I think of where Noah performed the best is, of course, the Xayah. When Aphelios was at the strongest. The fact that Fnatic got into 4-5 They went through 4-5 bans, 5 bans from the opposition, and Xayah was picked on 4th. That is something that needs to be re-strategized, because that's also something that Carzzy prioritizes. The fact that we were playing Aphelios Thresh blind, you know, comes with a lot of risk. If you play with any sense of imprecision and you fall behind in such a matchup, you're going to have a very, very tough game to bounce back in.
And respect, while Noah was one cleaning up all the kills, Trymbi's hooks were absolutely fantastic. It was the first 2v2 kill they got, where he lands that onto Hyilissang when he sees Carzzy reset. Then here, of course, Noah's just going absolutely ballistic. This is what I was talking about when he's in the middle of 3 different players. Just unreal. But throughout it all, Trymbi was moving into the river and finding these max range hooks, whether it was a flash or without the flash. He was the one initiating and finding those fights. And once you land a Nautalis hook with this comp, you have Ivern Q, you have Taliyah W, you have feathers from the Xayah. Any player that you hook can't move. That's a perfect pick.
It's crazy how much of a brawl this game actually was. This is not what I was expecting in game 1. But these players hit onto the rift and it was just action, action, action. 2v2s in the bot lane, skirmishes around the river. So much was happening in the bot side. That poor Chasy, man. Humanoid killed him like 2-3 times every time he tried to get onto the back line. Chasy did not have the best start to this series, but the casters are talking about it. Expectations are that Mad Lions will brush this one off, bounce back, and I imagine to see something very different in game.
Yeah, sure, but we got loads of time to still talk about this one. So you already gave us the yes, they will brush it off, and we will see something. Analyst take whatever. Talk some more about it.
I'll give you a small little thing, because this wasn't a big problem in this game, but in terms of the shrugging off, I'm concerned about Mad Lions if on the top side of the map they choose to go just like tank versus tank and just play weak side, because what we saw in this game was a moment where Mad Lions, or I think it was Mad Lions reset and played top side with their bot lane, right? Both top laners in 1v2, 1v3 situations. Wunder backs all the way up from the tower, survives, doesn't get dove. Chasy, on the other hand, isn't aware that dive can be coming in, and he's trying to farm underneath the tower. He ends up falling, and then Fnatic have all the tempo in the world. I think they were the first ones to reset and then get straight back into the bot lane for a dragon and another fight.
In my mind, when I was thinking about the champions that will be the most prioritized by both teams, both in the ban phase and also in terms of what they're going to be picked, then in my mind, I would actually think about the 4 first champions that Fnatic actually locked in. Ivern, very dominant jungler, something that Mad Lions also picked. Poppy, something that's been banned so much against Fnatic, less so when, of course, Wunder was in the picture because they didn't assume that he would be willing to play it, but here he is playing it. Also, something that was always cursed for us when I was working with Humanoid, when we were playing Taliyah, he was always good at it, but we just couldn't win. We just couldn't win on this champion. So he's broken that curse after a fantastic performance. Taliyah is also one of those champions that Mad Lions heavily prioritize. The fact that they have Ahri as the answer into Taliyah and drop AD carry into 4-5 rather than locking it in there is kind of showcasing a lot of issues with this draft, because they need to restructure their bans, because in theory, sure, the Tristana ban is cool, but the Maokai Renekton don't really do anything when all of these OP champions are in the picture.
Yamato, while we were watching this draft, questions I love asking you, like, you've coached most of these players before, and one of the things we were talking about was, so this Thresh has come through for Hyilly, and you said he's feeling confident, he's feeling happy. What do you think now after a game like this? He gets 8 deaths, he's getting caught out a bunch. What's your conversation with Hyilly?
I think the main concern that Thresh had, in this matchup, I think that he wanted to invite the melee answer into the Thresh. I think when Hyilly thinks of Trymbi, he thinks that he's better on the ranged champion, so he doesn't want to expose himself in a situation where he's going to be weak into them. I think Hyilly as a player excels when he has a winning lane matchup, and I think this was the only way they felt like they could have pieced together something that is winning, and in the end they picked something that is so greedy, and they couldn't find the timing together with Rell, because Rell can't pressure Ivern. When you pick Aphelios Thresh, you need a jungler that can invade on level 3 and then look to threaten dive, so Aphelios can rotate guns and keep pressuring and harassing under the turret, but that just didn't happen.
Yeah, and you saw they kind of tried to do it at moments, right? Like early on in the game, they run into mid lane where, Nisqy goes for the flash charm, doesn't quite connect, they're looking top lane, all these sorts of things. But I felt like it was a little bit disconnected the further we got into the game, where it was Hyilly a little bit more on his own that ended up getting picked off by Trymbi's Nautalis. At the same time, however, we saw like that one fight where Hyilissang gets hooked by the Nautalis and then still sees an angle where he can flash into the enemy AD carry, land the flay, the hook, everything in a chance of winning.
I guess he was like, again? Okay, never mind. I'm going in. But I think it's also to Trymbi's credit, right?
I think this is the one.
Oh, this is it. Here we go.
Only one way for Hyilissang, huh? Forward.
Yeah.
It turns into a winning fight for them because Elyoya is able to get there in time to follow on through. But I think this is what I was seeing was Elyoya wasn't immediately next to Hilly in a lot of those moments, and like there weren't damage dealers next to him, even if he was.
And I think, you know, when we talk about this draft going forward as well, I think it's credit that has to be given to Trymbi, because he said it himself also on PGL and in multiple interviews. He's like, yes, I know that I'm being boxed in as being a certain type player and that I prefer to Lux and whatever even, but I will do whatever I need to do to win these games with my team, and I think you're seeing that.
No, for sure. You see in the role of the replay cam, he's feeling himself. He's playing with the crowd. I think that just showcases the level of confidence that is definitely there. I think that in terms of a start, you couldn't have hoped for something better for Fnatic.
I think back to last year, and we listened to the voice comms when he was a part of that Rogue squad. He was just egging his team on. He was getting the crowd to cheer behind him. When he's in the zone, it really does feel like he's in the zone. And again, we talked about it at the start of this, but I have to go back to it. So much of this game was driven by the bot lane, and then Razork saw an opportunity, and just the timing of those ganks was always, every time the wave was pushed in, the bot lane was a little overextended, they saw an opportunity. They kept forcing fights around this 3-0, 4-0 Xayah very early on into the game. Fnatic, so even though it was a chaotic game, they seem to have a very clear game plan that they executed very well, and I was kind of surprised to see that level of play from them in game one.
I will say there was also one piece of information. This sort of gets lost in the chaos of the game, but around level 4, I think, after both junglers are done with their full clears, Elyoya was trying to walk behind his bot lane that had a very large wave stacking up and help them guide into tower, and he stepped 1 pixel too far forward, gets seen by the enemy minions. That vision allows Razork to take double crabs, put down a control ward inside Elyoya's jungle that I think lasted a very long time, and that sort of revealed Elyoya's pathing for a long part of the game, gave Razork a slight edge, and then allowed him to track and find those windows.
I just wanted to share an anecdote that I have with Humanoid. Humanoid has been a player that he's always been waiting to play in front of a crowd. The era of Humanoid's dominance was during the time where we had the Worlds in Iceland, less of the crowds, and this was always something that bothered Humanoid so much. He always wanted to play in front of the big crowd, and for him, this Taliyah performance, this was S++. He was so perfect. They tried to gank him, they tried to kill him, and nothing happened, and he put out the damage too. This was a monster performance.
Yeah, it was crazy, and you know, the added context, you know, if we love the story up first is the Mad Lions, because I think there's a lot of talks about when the Mad Lions were most successful, how much also was because of Humanoid. They've spoken to that. Of course, they've been very successful in their own right now as well, but you do see it shining through even with him now on Fnatic and now Veri. Let's spare a couple of words for the series as we go forward, and I'll give the word to you, Mad Lions. They have selected blue side. You're staying on that side. Tell me what the most important things here are that they have to fix. Shot call right now.
Well, I think they just need more options in the draft. Okay. We were kind of sitting down and we had this casual conversation whenever the draft ends is, what do you guys think? Who do you think is winning? And we all were just kind of aligned. Fnatic just have more options. They can play through mid, they can play through bot, they can bring their mid into bot, they can just have their bot lane win out 2v2, whereas we were looking for ways in which Mad had choices, and it felt like that unless they got Hilly off the map, they had Elyoya syncing up with Hilly, playing through mid, looking for a pick, and then roaming, it was too hard for them to really get anything going. They ended up falling into all of these fights, which just didn't work in their favor. So I just want to see them play an easier draft, give themselves a couple more options, maybe higher priority on the Xayah pick for sure.
No, for sure. I'm in agreement there. I think just the first 4 champions that Fnatic picked are just like Exodia right now in the meta. I think prioritizing Ivern, I think Rell becomes a lot weaker when Poppy's in the picture. Removing Renekton also elevates Poppy. I think all of these things, I think their bans hurt them more than anything. We've seen the Jace Prior go down, so they don't need to be afraid of the Jace Maokai combination, because I think Mad Lions is very good at playing against those like compositions that poke. I think in the grand scheme of things, I think the most important thing is that they need to have a higher priority on the AD carry pick. They can't let Noah get Xayah in the 4-5, and I want them to see them actually first pick the Ivern if it comes down to it, because the Rell when Poppy's in the picture is just not that great.
It isn't. We will have a little bit more time to talk about this when we come back, but Fnatic takes the first step towards the grand final tomorrow, and we'll be right back with Game 2 after this.
Hello there, everybody. Hear me loud and clear. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. No, are you good? Yes.
Let's go.
Trying to walk this away. Trymbi, how much time left on the hook? Titans Ragdoll pulling him back into the tower. Does he have the play as well? Trymbi could be in trouble. One more auto, and it's a 1-for-1. Hyilissang salvaging. Still doing decent damage in the ult over the wall, but in comes Humanoid on the wall. What can he get done? Now firing back door, remaining untouched on the backside. Nisqy not able to complete the play. The shielding coming in from Ivern is so hard, and again, Humanoid versus Chasy, and Humanoid keeps coming out on top. The re-engage goes in. Daisy finding the knockup. Noah finding the double, the triple, and now going to look for the quadrant.
Hey, yeah, I need a break though. That was some. Oh, Kevin was looking for you.
Oh, now?
In
Okay.
the green room, yeah.
Okay, I'll go now.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
He's trying to do it, but meanwhile they're in the base. Yellowstar's trying to defend them in the base. FLICKR is trying to take the Nexus down. Is anyone going to be able to deal with this one?
A new era of European League of Legends.
Qué alegría más grande. Tu alma brilla y me hace cantar.
Little moments of joy are not so little. They are pure joy. Therefore, treat yourself. Come to Andalusia.
Get ready, summoners. League of Legends is now on Displate. All your favorite champions on officially licensed metal posters. Stunning details, easy setup, more durable than Malphite. Join 3.2 million satisfied customers and fill your room with arcane energy. Order now at displate.com.